What is going on, Birdland? Stephen Heckman here for the Final Strike podcast, brought to you by the Baltimore Battery. We are kicking off season 4, and first off, I want to say thank you to everybody who supports us, listens to us, shares us, and participates in any conversations that we do have. I want to give a big shout out and thank you to you all. It wouldn't be possible without you to be where we are. So thank you very much, and I appreciate it. So we're going to jump right into things because we're less than 2 weeks away from pitchers and catchers reporting. Spring training's right around the corner. The World Baseball Classic is back this year. That's always a fun thing to see because these players take the pride of representing their country to the extreme. To this day, I still remember watching the Adam Jones catch off a Manny Machado hit that he thought was going to be a home run for the Dominican. It's just phenomenal. Shohei Ohtani striking out Mike Trout to end the last World Baseball Classic. There are so many things that come out of that are so fun to watch. There's players that people starting to realize have potential from other countries, and we can actually bring them in. So there is excitement around the corner with so much going on this year. You, of course, have the Dodgers, who are the reigning World Series champions, who are going to go for a three-peat. Of course, they're raising a lot of questions on how they can spend the money they're spending and get away with it, and then worry about how other teams are going to compete and feel competitive teams for them. Basically, you took the old New York Yankees and moved them over to the Dodgers, which is kind of ironic because the Dodgers used to be in Brooklyn and now are in LA. So welcome to Yankees West. And I'm not knocking the Dodgers. You know, they're playing within the rules and the guidelines. They've got things done and everything like that. They have a hell of a team. They have players I enjoy watching on that team. Just don't like that you basically are telling other teams that because you can't spend the money we can, you're not going to be able to participate. And that's how it kind of feels like. But I digress. It's something we'll get into at another time. We're not going to talk about all that stuff right now because there's so much more going on. Baltimore Orioles, they're still in talks with apparently Framber Valdez's camp, Lucas Giolito's camp, and Zach Gallen's camp for possibility signing one of them. Me personally, if we don't sign them, we don't sign them. I'm not overly concerned because I honestly think the Orioles have a very decent rotation that can compete, especially in the AL East. These pitchers have pitched in the AL East for the last couple of years against some strong teams. So, you know, we've done our fair share of damage in the AL East. You're getting a healthy Kyle Bradish back this year. You're getting a healthy Zach Eflin back this year. You're getting a healthy Tyler Wells, Albert Suarez. I mean, so much potential right there. Kyle Bradish is easily a number one starter, and he's shown that when he's taken the mound for us over the last 3 years. I mean, although he's only had 16 starts in the last 2 years, those starts, he only had 2 starts where he gave up more than 3 earned runs. His breakout season in 2023, he had 17, I think, quality starts. I'm winging it. I could be wrong on that, but a majority of his starts were quality starts because he gave up 3 runs or less and was pitching 6+ innings on a consistent basis. He came back with a torn UCL, remember, last year, and pitched 6 decent games for us. Orioles went 5-1 or 4-2 in those games. And outside the game he left with the injury, he still was pitching in the mid-90s. He came back last year, continued that. He had 1 game where he gave up more than 3 earned runs. Once again, still pitching 6 and 7 innings. He takes pride in that. He takes the ball, and he's not afraid to attack these players. And he's going to be even further removed from that Tommy John surgery. He is a breakout candidate this year. Tyler Rogers, we saw what he did last year in 18 starts. He held the lowest ERA in Orioles history for a pitcher through 18 starts. A sub-2 ERA. That's impressive. And that was in the second half of the season pretty much, when the postseason race is ramping up. It wasn't just a fluke. I mean, he did have a start earlier in the year, and he came on and pitched on fire. Then they sent him back down. He came back up, and once again, he pitched to the point they could not send him down. And he rewarded him for that. He easily fits in as our number 2 or 3. He is a lefty, so that's why I say 2 or 3. Shane Baz, we basically gave Grayson Rodriguez the opportunity. He had all the potential in the world. Couldn't stay on the field. He had not pitched a full season at all in the major leagues. Basically, in his 3 years, he missed 2 years of baseball. He's had 1 full season. And yes, he pitched great in that season, but he also missed the second half when we needed him the most. Last year, he didn't even pitch at all. His first season up, he had 2 IL stints. The season he was originally supposed to come up, another long IL stint. So we'll see what happens. I mean, going forward, it's going to be interesting to see what he does with the Los Angeles Angels. I wish the guy the best. I just wish it would have been with us. But I like Shane Baz. Shane Baz is basically the pitcher that we expected Grayson Rodriguez to become. He has the potential. He has the power fastball. He has good secondary pitches. He's going to be 2 years removed. He's going into a second year removed from Tommy John surgery. And that's usually when pitchers find their footing and get their power back and their aggressiveness back. He has the ability to actually move himself into a 2, maybe even a top rotation spot on other teams. We have this guy till the end of the 2028 season. He's the biggest wild card in the staff right now. We re-signed Zach Eflin, who's healthy. He had the back surgery that actually is going to relieve the pain that he was pitching with for the last 3 or 4 years, where it got to the point that he would have to have IL stents in between and get therapy to make it so he could get through the rest of the season and injections. He won't have to do that. A healthy Zach Eflin, if he comes to us returns back to the way he was the second half of the season when we traded for him, we're just going to be adding another pitcher who pitches deep into the games. Then you end up with Dean Kramer, who is consistently a pitcher who has pitched for us since he's been brought up to the majors. He did have that one season. He went 1-7. We sent him back down, but when he came back up, he's very strong. He's been very durable for us. He takes the ball, no questions asked. He'll pitch whenever you want him to, and usually he can get you 6-7 innings in a game. He might give you up 3 or 4 runs, but a pitcher giving you up 3 or 4 runs, giving you 7 innings, I will take any day. Because with the offense we have from top to bottom, that should not be a problem for our offense to compete. And there will be days the offense is off. But if your pitcher is going to keep you in a game with the type of offensive power that we have, whew, people better remember what happened in 2023 when we came out of nowhere. It's possibility it happens again. Health will be the big factor. I do understand that, know that. But when you look at it, like I said, you got Kyle Bradish, you got Trevor Rogers, you got Shane Baz, Zach Eflin, Dean Kramer lining up right now as your 1 through 5s. After that, you still got Tyler Wells, Cade Povich, and Brandon Young. And that's just available to pitch as starters and can be swingmen. We already know Albert Suarez can be a swingman. He pitched well out of the bullpen. He pitched well as a starter for us. Tyler Wells, he's pitched well out of the bullpen when he first came to us. He pitched excellent for us as a starter. I think he's better off as a bullpen piece because, if he gives you 60, 70 innings a year, he can approach the pitching different. Whereas a starter, you kind of build up and ramp up. Tyler Wells is a good pitcher. I like the guy. And he's done well for us at the time he's taken the mound. So I'm not upset. But then you can actually go further in, and we have a good 2 or 3 pitchers in the minors who are a footstep away from being able to be in the majors. Not to mention, Chase McDermott is currently on our team and is a reverted starter. He can pitch as a starter. So you're talking about 10 potential starting pitchers, 3 more in the minors who are capable of coming up. So that's what we were going for last year. And unfortunately, we lost a lot of pitchers at the beginning of the season that hurt us. The same thing with the bullpen. Our bullpen is actually a lot stronger this year. We brought Andrew Kitteridge back, picked up his option, which is great. We got Ryan Helsley to fill in for Felix Bautista, unfortunately, who probably has gone all season, but there's a possibility he comes back towards September, October time. I mean, if we don't need him, I'd rather him rest. Helsley has a really good opportunity ahead of him. And I think he's going to do well for us. If Cano reverts back to what he was 2 years ago, he's going to be fine. I mean, he got shuffled up and down to the minors last year because basically his changeup and his curveball were dipping at the same angle and the same speed. There was no difference. I mean, they basically were right at the same speed, so you could sit back and wait on him. He had that fastball, but that fastball he still has problem controlling. It's that changeup, that changeup and splitter and curveball all being around the same exact speed and breaking about the same exact depth. He basically lost his backup pitches, his secondary pitches, which is what made him successful the previous 2 years for us. So a return to form for him is going to be great. Um, then you have, like I said, Chase McDermott. You have Albert Suarez. You have Tyler Wells. Those pitchers are definitely going to be in the team. Chase McDermott, I think he's fringe, but he has the potential to actually be a decent bullpen arm. Long-term fill-in, spot start here or there. But if, you have a pitcher who leaves early because he's giving up too much runs or, God forbid, an injury, you have the ability to have him step in if needed, if, say, Albert Suarez or Tyler Wells isn't available. So Chase McDermott is decent. Colin Selby had a decent season for us last year, so I'm not upset with seeing him back. Grant Wolfram, I like this guy. Big lefty. If he can control his pitches, he definitely has potential to be a late game piece for us. And he can pitch any of the innings, but I would like him at the back. Rico Garcia, when he can control his pitches, the guy can strike out anybody at any time. He gets a little bit wild sometimes, and that's the biggest issue with him. But he pitched fairly well for us last year. He did have some hiccups, but for the most part, he pitched very well for us. He came in some tight situations and actually got us out of it. So having him back, another year of work with our pitching staff and our pitching school, I think he's going to be fun. Same thing with Dietrich Edge. He has so much potential. And I'm just looking at what we have here right now. There's so much potential between our starting pitching and our bullpen. It should not be considered a weakness. And people still believe we're going to end up with Framber Valdez. I wouldn't mind. Trust me, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's a good lefty. He's going to get you out of an inning no matter what. He can put the ball on the ground, and he's consistent. Usually stays healthy, too. He's 32 years old, so I'm kind of skeptical about offering a contract that's 5 years or longer. But sometimes you got to go out your comfort zone to get what you need to take that next step. And the Orioles have done that this year, getting Ryan Helsley, signing Pete Alonso, bringing back Zach Eflin, trading Grayson Rodriguez. We've made moves that are not what we've been accustomed to in the past 8 years. We are actually seeing moves that are going to improve our team. There's rumors that we've talked to Zach Gallen. There's rumors Lucas Giolito. I'll take any one of those pitchers. I personally would love Zach Gallen. I've had him as a dark horse trade candidate for 2 years now. And everybody was questioning me, why do you think that? So because Arizona always lets their big players go when it comes close to contract time, especially if they're going to get a big contract. They did it with Paul Goldschmidt. It's something they are used to doing and something that they are consistently done. They're trying to Marte's on the trade block. As good of a player as he is, why would you want to get rid of him? But, to each their own. Teams have a way of doing things. We have a way of doing things now, too. You get into our lineup, and the depth there is pretty good. Catcher, you have Adley Rutschman, one of the best defensive catchers in the game right now. Samuel Basallo, a young and upcoming catcher who has massive power. His offense might be the reason that improves Adley Rutschman's offense, and Adley Rutschman's defense is only going to help Basallo get better. They're going to be able to pick each other's brain, compare notes, and actually learn from each other. I don't want to trade Adley Rutschman. Having Adley Rutschman for 2 more years and maybe even extending him, I can honestly see giving him another 4-year contract right now, because having both those players together is a benefit. And as we've learned in the past, having 2 good catchers is better than having 1 good catcher and a so-so backup. So I'm kind of excited for the catching. Plus, Sammy Basallo will get some DH opportunities, so even get some first base opportunities. You go to first base, and we got a logjam there because you got Pete Alonso, who just signed a 5-year, $155 million contract. He's the front and center. He's going to be our first baseman. There's no question about it. He'll play some first, he'll DH, and then you got Kobe Mayo. But right now, you also have Ryan Mountcastle, and Sammy Basallo is listed as a first baseman. I honestly do believe, as much as I like Mountie, and we did pick up his arbitration year with an option for the following year, or we did sign him then, I do believe we still trade Ryan Mountcastle. It is a possibility we trade him in a package to get a pitcher. There is potential with him, but his power numbers are down. He's not been too healthy for us the last few years. I like Ryan Mountcastle, big fan of the guy, but time to move on. He's still relatively young, and I think people forget that. He's 5 years into this league. I mean, you look at it, was born in 1997. He's 4 years older than Kobe Mayo. So, he is still coming into his prime. I'd love to see the power numbers return, but we got Pete Alonso right now. Ryan Mountcastle's defense is exceptional. Kobe Mayo's potential is there, though, and I really would rather have Kobe Mayo behind Pete Alonso, learning the proper ways to hit. His defense improved drastically last year as the season went on. Go to second base. Jackson Holliday's back. He should be healthy. Jordan Westburg is listed as a backup. And then you have Jeremiah Jackson, who came out of nowhere last year and had a phenomenal season for us. He is going to be hard to send back down. He could possibly be a trade piece too, but I would really love to keep the guy, especially since he does have infield ability, but he learn on the fly the corner outfield positions last year and played very well doing it. Third base, of course, we're going to have Jordan Westburg, Jeremiah Jackson, and Kobe Mayo. A healthy Jordan Westburg, he's going to go a long way for us because he's that bulldog. He's that balance that this team needs. He's rough, he's gruff, he's an old-fashioned baseball player. He's going to go out, he's going to get his, and he's going to give you 110% every single time. He was a missing link. Him and Colton Cowser affected us more so than people realize. When we finally had them back in the lineup and healthy, our team looked a lot better. When they were out of the lineup, whole different ball club. And it's because they bring that balance of determination and grit, but also that humor into it as well. Where you have players like Gunnar and Adley who are a little bit laid back and not as outgoing and gruff. Jordan Westbrook and Cowser are that gruff people who can motivate a team, and you see them do something, you want to follow in their footsteps and do the same thing, or continue a rally, something like that. Left field, Taylor Ward, Dylan Beavers, Tyler O'Neill, Colton Cowser. It's basically our outfield right there. We did sign Leody Taveras. I don't know if I'm saying his name wrong. Right, I'm sorry if I have. But, I mean, when you have an outfield that's going to consist of Tyler Ward, Colton Cowser, and Tyler O'Neill, if he can stay healthy, and then you have Dylan Beavers who can play all those positions, you're just giving yourself the depth that you need. Plus, Jeremiah Jackson can play outfield. Hate to say it, but Kobe Mayo's played corner outfield spots. Even Westberg's played some outfield. Don't want to put them out there, but flexibility with our team is something we've always done. Westberg can play 3 infield positions. Gunnar Henderson can play 3 infield positions. Jackson Holliday, 3 infield positions. Kobe Mayo can play 2 of the infield positions and 2 of the outfield positions. Ryan Mountcastle came up as a shortstop, has played third base, left field, right field, and first base. So, Baseo, first base and catcher. Even Adley has taken some time at first base. So, we have built a team that is there. Mike Elias did the blueprints and got it there. As much as, I'm sorry what happened last year. The team got off to a bad start. Then we had to fire our manager, and now we have a new manager, Craig Alvarez, which a lot of people have been trying to get this guy for the last couple of years. I think he's just the right person because he's young enough to know what it's like to be a player and help these players through this rigorous time of learning how to go from the minor leagues to the majors and take that next step. But he's also old enough that he has been around and he can command respect and help lead a team. So there's a lot of excitement going on here and a lot of things that are going to be happening going forward. Spring training is just around the corner. Pitchers and catchers are just around the corner. We're back in action, which means you're going to be seeing us go along. Season 4 is underway. So get ready for the ride and get ready for the journey. Let me know what you all think. What do you think of the Orioles starting rotation? Do we have to add another pitcher to make us that much better? Any of the pitchers that we do add are going to be good for the team, but do we have to add them is the question. There's a difference between needing and having. So, or wanting. That's the difference between need and want. Do we have to want them? Do we have to need them is the question. What do you think? Framber Valdez, Zach Gallen, or even Lucas Giolito. 2 of them you can get for a lot cheaper than one. Then you have two other ones who are older than Gallen. So, there's options there. We also have 10 possible players on the major league roster right now, plus another 3 in the minors that are just that step away from being able to come up and pitch. The lineup, we have the depth right now in the lineup, and we still have players pushing down in the minor leagues. So, not that I want to see anybody hurt to bring them up, but there are more people we can bring up. Health is going to be a key factor, as it is every year. You have a healthy team, you have a better chance of competing instead of players learning on the fly. Dylan Beaver, Samuel Paseo, who didn't have bad seasons last year, they actually did very well. Paseo translated his into enough to get an 8-year, $67 million extension. So he's with us for quite some time. So what do you think? Also, what next? Gunnar Henderson has talked about how elated he is with the new faces and excited he is to go into the season, and glad to see that the Orioles are actually putting the pieces in place for them to be competitive and fight for that World Series. That's a big thing because Gunnar Henderson is the key we got to sign. I mean, he is going to be a massive contract when we sign him. And honestly, I think he's a better player than Vlad Guerrero. So you're looking at $450, $500 million contract. But the thing is the length. The other thing I think going for us is the fact that all these players, most of them came up together. They went together at various levels. Now they want to do it together as a team here. And I think that might help us re-sign some of these players and keep them with us longer. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Do we need another starting pitcher or do we want another starting pitcher? Because need him once, like you said, a whole different thing. What about bullpen? Should we add another bullpen arm or are we good with the bullpen? Not much to say really about the lineup. I mean, Tyler O'Neill was the big flag. He could also honestly become a trade piece, but we literally do have him this year, next year, because he picked up the 2-year option of $16 million a year. He'd be a fool if he didn't. If he's healthy, it's a benefit to us. And that's the thing, keeping him healthy. So what do you all think? What are your projections going into the season? What do you think we need to work on or improve? What are you excited for? What do you think the Orioles need to do to take that next step? We'll be back next week. Final Strike is back. Season 4 is underway. I want to give a big shout out to the Baltimore Battery because without the Baltimore Battery, we wouldn't be here. You need to definitely go check out the BaltimoreBattery.com. There's numerous articles that have been put out since the start of the year. Zach has been kicking ass. Justin's been kicking ass. RJ has a new article. I have a couple there. I've got another one that'll be coming out really soon. Bit controversial, but we'll see. I think it's going to be a good article for people to read. Spring notes are just around the corner with spring training, so you got that coming forward. So big shout out to the Baltimore Battery. Wouldn't be here without them. Thank you for them. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Also, I want to give a big shout out to Advanced Mobility Solution, formerly Scooters for Rent. Advanced Mobility Solution reconfigured internally because Scooters for Rent did not tell that they also did sell product. So if you're in the area on the eastern shore of Maryland and Delaware and need mobility scooters, manual and electric wheelchairs, beach wheelchairs, or lift recliners, give them a call, 302-280-6203. Tell them Stephen from the Final Strike sent you. Last but not least, I want to thank you all because without you all, we wouldn't be able to do this. So until next time, Baltimore, keep that beer cold. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.